in life. There's greatness inside of you. Let's do greatness with love. Unleash it in the greatness of His love. Transformation that you can have, coming from God above. Welcome to the greatness hub. Welcome to the greatness hub.
Yes, good afternoon mga ka-travels. Coach Yanni po ng Travel Pa More, your travel guide online show. So today is August 17. We will be together for the next 1 hour, more or less. And the title of our episode is Episode 10, Overseas Migrant Workers, um, the Pride of the Filipinos. Okay, so today we are very lucky because we are going to have a guest which is a former colleague where we work together in the university, and we had been dealing with some projects together, and he is now a migrant worker. He used to be actually a migrant worker from the Middle East country. Now he is staying in Brunei with his family. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in this episode about overseas migrant workers. And let's see how our co-Filipinos are enjoying the greatness of their work overseas. Again, yes, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our guest for today's episode, Engineer Romano M. Pasquin. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ram. You can call me Ram. I've been working in Brunei for about 15 years. I'm working as an electrical engineer. I supply manpower to one company in Brunei, which is equivalent to our Meralco in the Philippines. We supply the electricity in the whole distribution area. So basically, we do the maintenance, the preventive and corrective maintenance for the whole system in Brunei. Oil and gas is the #1 industry here in Brunei. So basically, the economy of Brunei depends on the oil and gas that they been utilizing for how many years since they discovered the oil. So my family is here. All my family is here. My wife and my 2 kids are here.
So you have 5 kids.
I have 5 kids actually. 3 of them already went back to the Philippines. All my ladies, they are already married. I have already 2 grandsons.
Ay, wow, very young grandfather. I have 30.
Yes.
I'm older.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
So
30. It's nice to.
my
Yeah,
eldest one, my youngest one is here. The girl, she's in primary 6, and my son is still on social visit pass because he was locked down during his visit here in Brunei. And good also that he's doing the online class here in Brunei, but enrolled in the Philippines.
Okay, nice to know. Anyway, so you mentioned about the lockdown. No, this is pandemic time. Actually, in the Philippines right now, we are in on a lockdown for 2 weeks, and hopefully it won't be ended. So how is Brunei in terms of your pandemic situation there?
Recently, for the past 1 year, we have been COVID-free. But since yesterday, there was a bad news that there were 43 cases that were discovered in Brunei. So since yesterday until August 21, we'll be in lockdown for 2 weeks because they want to contact trace the people who got infected with the virus. And now it's a total lockdown here. So basically, we'll be advised to work from home within 2 weeks. And now you can see the difference when you go out in the streets, in the stores, a little bit different from for the past 1 year that we've been enjoying Brunei for 1 year without COVID. And people are, it's like a new thing that they're very shocked that, well, there is an infection. Unlike in the Philippines, thousands of infected people, but still people are relaxed. But here, we treat it really, we treat it very seriously because we are not used to of having
Of course,
this
because
virus.
our
Yeah,
first time to experience that. Actually,
yeah,
in the case of the Philippines, it's not being relaxed. It is just that we
yeah,
cannot do anything. No, we have to move and forward and find our way on how we are going to survive. Okay, so
yes, yes,
anyway, it's been 15 years, no, that you have been in Brunei, and that's
yes,
nice to know. Um, I understand that you have been from the Middle East before you
yeah,
go back to Philippines for the academe, and then you're
yes, correct.
again after some time in the university. Um,
Yes, correct.
can you tell our televiewers what's the difference between working in the Middle East countries and where you are now in Brunei?
I work around in Middle East countries before. Well, previously, maybe I can recall maybe 20 years ago,
Mhm.
and the difference, of course, is the weather.
Okay.
It's quite hot in the Middle East, but here in Brunei, because Brunei is located in the Borneo Island, in between the South China Sea and Malaysia, so
Okay.
the same weather we are enjoying here, the same setting, because it's already in the Asian countries. But basically, when it comes to the type of government, it's a monarchy type of government,
Mhm.
and it's an Islamic country, the same with Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And most of the dialect or the language and in the Philippine language are quite common. As I had read and as I've studied here, there are around 30,000 vocabulary words which are same as we are using in the Philippines. So there are similarities.
Yeah,
So that's why in Saudi Arabia it's quite hard to understand the language, but in Brunei we can adapt because mostly the words are the same, exactly as the same. I'll give you an example. Kanan is kanan in Brunei, is the same.
yeah.
Mata is mata in Brunei, something like that. So
Yeah.
it's quite fun in Brunei.
I can understand because I had worked in Malaysia for
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have
years.
mentioned before,
I've
right?
been to Brunei also for a couple
For
of
quite
times.
time, right?
Okay.
Yes, correct, correct.
Anyway, so aside from the language, I am interested about working conditions like as
Mm,
compared to that of the Philippines. Of course, you work
mm,
in team, but in terms of the technical job that you are doing, how
mm.
is working relationship with other workers? Like aside from people of Brunei, you work for other expats.
Yes. Yeah, so in the office, I'm the only Filipino guy for about 15 years, but I'm dealing with other contractors, Filipino contractors. Let's go first to the office setting and in the field. I'm working with the Bruneian people, and they are very nice. They are very kind when it comes to the work, when it comes to the relationship. Actually, they're as I don't know if people or if Filipinos should be offended. Sometimes it's better to have a relationship with the Bruneians rather than the Filipino,
Yeah.
as they said. But in other countries, when we are in other countries, we respect their rights, we respect their culture, and so that's the way I do with in relations of in relating to the work. The Filipinos here are also quite good because whenever an OFW goes to one country, he will always follow the rule of that country.
Yeah.
When he goes back to the Philippines, he is the tag there, and he don't follow even his boss. But in Brunei or in other countries, as every OFW, definitely you are a very disciplined OFW when you go to another country. But going back to the Philippines, it's all haywire, as they
Yeah,
said.
I can relate because I
Yeah.
was in OFW for 3 years. I've been out for
Yes.
2 years
You know, right?
there in Malaysia,
Mm.
and I can relate to that. Okay, anyway, for the Filipinos, I understand now it's not actually a problem about language because we are very flexible about learning how to
Yes, true.
communicate, even the use of the nonverbal language. And also, we are, very adaptable for
Yeah.
other culture, and we can easily
True, true.
and adjustments. Okay. So another thing that I want to know, and probably our televiewers would like to know also, is there is actually a gap between working in a technical job and then you went back to
Yes,
the Philippines for the academe. So
correct.
how is it? No, I mean, how is it you adjusting to the academe? Because you went into teaching, you hold uh,
Uh,
administrative offices in a
Correct.
university. Do you miss it?
Actually, my course, industrial education, is very applicable to what I'm doing.
Mhm.
We can be in an education in relation to academia, when we impart knowledge, the skills, and the attitudes, of course, when it comes to the education. I miss the academe though, because of
Of course.
course, the leadership, the students, yeah,
Yeah.
and all the people. On the other hand, I think I've been in the academe for how many years? Maybe 15 years since I graduated in the education. I'm quite, I was looking for something new when I went to the field, and my course relates to that field, and I found it's very exciting because there's certain skills, things that
Challenger.
I would like, challenges to
Challenge.
discover. And the thing is, when you are a working man, and it's especially when you are on the skill, you will enjoy it. So if you will ask me whether I will go back to academia, of course, I later on, maybe in future, I will be in the academy again, teaching what I will be learning in Brunei, or what I have learned in Brunei, and teaching what I have learned in the field of engineering and in the field of maintenance. So it's quite, very helpful, and it's quite very productive to be both in academia and both in the field.
Okay. Um, that's correct. So thank you for that. Another thing is you have uh, worked in another country
Yes,
and
in study.
found we call it always greener pasture. If you get out of the Philippines,
Yes, yes,
we want better, salaries, better benefits,
correct.
and of course, it's a wow because it's another country. So, do
Mm.
you think if you did not leave the country, um, things will be the same, or what's the difference?
There's a big difference, of course, when I left the Philippines.
Mhm.
Of course, we are enjoying the financial status quite a little bit, and you can have all your dreams when it comes to the material things.
Okay.
And it's a blessing that God gave that opportunity for me to go back. When I went back to the Philippines, when I was single before, I said to myself that I will not be coming or going back again to other countries. And I promised that I will not, because my grandma died by that time, and I don't want that have that feeling to be left alone.
That's
But during the time when the economy is quite not good in the Philippines, the job is not quite good in the Philippines, I pray that I will be given a blessing, and it did came. God sent me to Brunei. Actually, I came here first. After 3 years, my wife followed, and after 5 years, the whole family followed.
yeah.
So it's a wow thing, as you have said, when it comes to the economy, to the material things, and it's a wow thing that you've been in different country. I've been to Malaysia, I've been to Indonesia, I've been to Saudi Arabia, seeing different perspective and views in life. It makes us feel very blessed that I am here working, and
Correct.
then
Because
it's quite great to be an OFW.
that's correct. And
Uh,
many are still wanting no to get out of the country. So you mentioned about the
yeah,
country.
yeah,
So this means that working in another country gives you better lives and
yes, correct.
of
That's
course,
true.
together with the family. And this is
Yes, yes, yes.
for you. Should you have not left the Philippines, there is another story. Okay, so
Yes.
you
Mm.
have brought your kids, no? So how does it impact your kids when, of course, they knew that you are leaving for a job and that
Uh,
and the opportunity also to go with you. So how was it
mm,
for the kids? Now, it's a foreign country and there may be a culture
mm,
things may not be the same in terms of of how they do things like school, except of course this time of pandemic gave us
Correct.
the story. But how was the kid? How were the kids were able to adjust?
Cope up.
Yeah,
You mean before or now that or
now,
during this time?
yeah, yeah. When you brought them to
Okay. It's it's quite difficult and it's quite hard when an OFW leaves the country, the Philippines, and leaving all his loved ones, especially the children.
correct,
So, but we have to be determined to whatever we want to do
correct.
for our dreams. Now, it's quite hard because they're still growing. My wife followed me, and we are here, two of us here, and then we just by that time it's a good thing technology was already there. We have Facebook, we have
Yeah,
so many apps that we can communicate.
them, yes.
But the presence of every parents or of the parents is quite different, of course, when it comes to the growing children.
Mhm.
And it will always be your mental thing, the emotional thing that will be affected. But I tried for them to be here. Funny, when they came here first, there was a culture shock. Every Filipino will know it. They don't know the culture, and I was scared and I was afraid that my children will not be coping up with the system here in Brunei.
Mhm.
And but basically, slowly and gradually, they were able to cope up with the culture. I was scared that my son, he was very young when he came here. I think he was around 10 years old or 9, that he will be crying in the class because he don't know how to speak English, and the culture of the Brunei is different from
Correct.
our country. But they were able to, and they enjoyed staying in Brunei. Actually, when you will ask my daughter, if you will ask her, he consider Brunei as his first home. And he sometimes she's mistaken, she is mistaken that her nationality is Bruneian. I said, no, you're not Bruneian, you're Filipino. And someday, somehow in the future, we'll go back again to the Philippines.
That's nice.
And when you are going to ask my children, they consider Brunei as their first home, and Philippines as the second home. Of course, in future we'll be staying and we'll be retiring back in Brunei,
Um,
in the Philippines. Sorry.
that's correct. So we have a lot of stories about migrant workers. No,
Yes.
in the Philippines, we have a lot of countries. You mentioned a country, and then there is a Filipino there.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Traveling, and I have traveled 31 countries, and I have seen them everywhere I go there.
Oh,
Filipinos.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So
anyway,
quite.
this means that working as a migrant worker in another country gives also the opportunity for the family, to do your
Yes. Correct.
banding together, go together, learn together,
Yeah.
and stay together. Maybe, of course, it's an acculturation also of uh,
Mm.
ways of life of people in other country like Brunei. Of course, it's not that far in terms you said of the
Yes. Correct.
way, and also of the manner of how they live. Availability of food supply is not very far also because we are both in
Correct.
Asia, and
Mm.
Brunei is one of the Southeast Asian country where if you go
Right.
as a tourist, you have visa on arrival. Okay, so um, different migrants in different countries have their own stories, but generally they share the sentiments of like they miss home, so it is a matter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the very first thing.
Yeah, the very first
Uh,
is feeling homesick.
Homesickness. They call it homesick.
Uh,
Yes.
you were there for 3 years, you said. So
Mm-hmm.
this time of years or 3 years,
Mm.
your family is in the Philippines. Even if we have communication systems like Facebook and
Mm.
Instagram,
Yes. Yes.
did you feel that homesick too?
Yeah, of course. Every Filipino migrant workers will be feeling that. Basically, when you go to a country, the first month will be an excitement because you've been there, you'll be working,
Wow, it's about
and you will feel excitement. But the second month until the third month, then that's the time it will hit you, your homesickness.
yeah.
And I felt that way. I got homesick, of course. And every Filipino OFW, as they say, will we can relate to this thing. I felt alone, and actually after 3 or 4 months, my mind is saying that I have to go back to the Philippines. That's true, and I planned already to go back to the Philippines, but things changed in my job, and I was given that promotion. I was moved to another site with a stress-free environment.
Mhm.
Then that's the time that because I was promoted, I am now financially capable of bringing my family here. Then that's the time that homesick is only temporary. Around 3 years, my wife came, and then 5 years they came.
And you got a family
Everyone.
visa. You got a family
So,
visa that you can bring your family there,
yes, yes, yes. They
provided that
applied
they
the
are, yeah,
dependent.
they are qualified according to the law of
Yes,
Brunei.
yes, yeah, yeah. They have certain limit or certain
Uh,
law or
so you
family.
mentioned about you were also planning to go back to the Philippines within the 3 years
Yeah.
because you were homesick and probably
Uh,
other reasons why. How did you decide to stay and how did you cope with that? That feeling. I can understand because I worked in Nepal for 2 years, but I've been coming back to Philippines every.
yeah, yeah.
So what's the difference?
Um,
How are you able to cope with that?
so when the time came that I would like to go back to the Philippines. Certain change happened. I think it's God's way of dealing with me. I went to the church. My boss, the big boss, our big boss in the company, is a Christian. And somehow he invited me to go to the church. And I found myself inside the church by the time I was invited by my boss, of course, just to follow my boss and to be there in the church. I found myself inside the church crying and praying. And that definitely changed my outlook. And that definitely changed my feeling of going back. So what I did is go to the church and pray and no, and God answered it. I was transferred actually after that prayer. I was given that opportunity. My stress was gone, and now I am uh, capable of bringing my family. So I can say to the Filipino or to the FW that are homesick, just keep on praying. When you go to that way and you want to fulfill your dream, you should pray, and then God will act on it, and you should also act on it. Everything was in order. So second is you have to dedicate yourself in the job. You have to take those things, yeah,
Mhm.
to enjoy your work. And of course, we have a saying that all work and no play makes Johnny a dull boy.
Correct.
And you have to enjoy life as you hear. So you have to do some physical activity, go around, see things. And the most important thing as an OFW when separated to the family is the communication. There
Mhm.
will always be and must always be a good communication between the OFW and the family.
Yeah.
And if there will be a miscommunication or a no communication at all, then that's it. That's the end of a good, thinking mind of the Filipino migrant workers. And it's quite hard. And you know the stories, right?
Mhm.
It will always happen.
Difference between OFWs before when there was no Facebook and no cell phone.
Yeah, by the time.
That's different. Okay. Anyway, so this means we will still go back to the believing that there is a supreme being that directs us on what
Yes, sir.
we do, gives us the guidance and
Yes, definitely.
it's out that feeling is that you should have faith in him. Okay.
Correct,
In
correct.
other words, um, the family is always the reason for deciding to go back or stop your
Yeah, yeah.
case. And they are also the reason why you left the country because you would like to give better life to
Mm,
them, better future, and
correct.
what will make you stay in the job is thinking about their welfare too. So the economic condition of the family, of course, you're helping
Mm,
the Philippine government because we through remittances, our country
mm,
probably partly save for its
mm.
downfall of our economy in the Philippines. Okay, so it's nice hearing that, bro.
Yeah, one more thing, because you mentioned family, right?
Yeah.
My credo in my office is in an order is God, family, and safety. So God first, put God first, and then your family. Everything that you have to do is about God, and then the second is the importance of the family. Because what you're doing now, what we are doing now is for our family. If you will not be doing good, you have to elevate yourself. It's all for your family, and something happens, it will be also for your family. So yeah, true. It's true. The family is the force that will let every OFW stand on his in his firm feet and you know get his dreams.
And
Uh,
you're working.
yeah, correct.
Working for 15 years overseas. Now, of course, it's a different story because you have your family with you now. Of course,
Yes,
them are in the Philippines, but you still communicate with
it's a
them.
different thing. It's a
What
different story.
are the realizations or uh, learnings that you had encountered that make you I believe you are a tougher person now. You are more tough,
Mm,
more determined, and you
mm.
very sure about what you're doing and what you want in life. So can you share to our televiewers how were you able to manage to stay that for more than 15 years you are working uh, with your family now and before
Mm,
without your family, but you are still there.
yeah.
Okay?
You
Can you
know, it's a natural thing that in every family there will always be a friction, and every family will say and will testify that no family is perfect. We
correct?
fight sometimes, but things will go will go out. Now, what I can say is, in the family, it's always you have one objective. You know, our family credo is it's like the three musketeer, one for all and all for one. So it's like a pack. I'm the leader of the pack. So when we go out, we all go out. When we don't have this thing, all will not have this thing. When we have this thing, all should have this thing. So we have to. The
So it's
family should have a good teamwork. First and foremost, there should be God who is dealing or leading the family. It's
all
a good thing that you have to tell your children about the Supreme Being, our God, that is guiding them. And we taught them to pray. We taught them to go to church. We taught them these good things. And some, of course, there are some things that we cannot avoid or some unavoidable circumstances that we beyond our control. But still, this is our family. I think I cope up because my wife is always supporting me. So in a family, there will always be a good thing of support. So you have to support one another in terms of every circumstances. Yeah, you have to support. You have to
probably
strengthen each other
and
as well as the children. You have to support and yeah, you have to give and take. You have to make them strong, prepare them. Actually, the reason why we're doing this is to for their future, because in future we only just advise as parents, and what we have prepared for them, it's up to them what to do.
you only
If we prepare them to be strong, they will be strong.
that's correct. So
Mm.
you have a very good support system for you to be
Yes, yes, that's the thing.
or survive as an OFW and
Correct.
the good thing is that you have the opportunity to bring your family with you and
Yes, that's the
it's
thing.
a different feeling too. Okay, so I also can relate to that because I brought also my two kids in Malaysia and one can take care
Before. Oh.
for a year. So living away from the family because you have a work to do and that of course
Mhm.
stated uh, gives you the direction and your ardent desire to support the
Yes.
family in a better way instead of just staying in the Philippines. These conditions gives us the idea that actually there must be some problems actually happening in the Philippines that gives people to make decisions like going out of the country and work for the better
Mm.
their future, especially their family, because we are Asians and we are family oriented. We always think about
Correct, correct.
how our family will be and how we are going to
Mm.
treat them in a way as expected as a family man and as a father of your kids,
Mm.
especially when they are growing. No, they would always need your guidance. Probably they
Correct.
they look at you as their inspiration, model, and
Mhm.
idol, no, something like
Yes,
that. Anyway, bro, I am so happy that there has been a lot of changes, no, for the better, of course.
correct.
Maybe the academe is missing you. Maybe
Maybe someday
people
in the
that
future.
work together in the academe are also missing you. But you know, things will never be the same. But when things change, it will be a change for the better, no? Uh,
Yes, correct.
Actually, I would like to flash some pictures I have stolen, no, from you.
Hmm.
How can I share this?
Yes, yeah. So I'll be commenting on this, right? Correct.
Yeah. You, if you want to,
Okay, okay. This is my work environment.
right?
So from office, I go to the
Yeah,
site.
this is
Mm.
yeah. Can you describe what you're doing here?
We are doing the substation maintenance.
Mm.
So there is a work for the work to clean the substation, and we are part of it as administration. This is the supply system, or this is the main supply in the distribution. So we supply actually from high voltage of 66 kV going to 450 volts in the house.
Nice. So, and
So these are my colleagues.
is a Filipino too, or what?
No, these are Bruneians. Bruneians and Philippines, because we came from the same ancestor actually.
Yeah,
We came from the same uh, place of our ancestor. Actually,
yeah, craving
one
some
funny thing.
good times here.
Yeah, yeah. So not in the office, we're also doing some, yeah. This is some sort of fellowship, eating fellowship.
And then here, I think you were doing some physical exercise.
Ah,
Yes.
yeah. The Greeks believe that a strong body is what do you call it? The strong body is with a sense of strong body, a strong mind, right? So
Correct.
before we do our work,
Working productivity.
we always do our exercise first
Okay, and
to.
then yeah, I can see that. So that's nice.
Mm,
I mean, if you will always find time to get fit and work
yes.
productively.
Actually, it's always been exercise in I think every company in Japanese company do this
Yeah.
also. They have to exercise first before going to work. It's a
Okay,
good thing.
and I'm happy. Of course, you have your family with you. Uh,
Yeah, but my eldest daughter, my youngest daughter is not included in that picture,
that's
and she was wondering why
they,
she's not in the picture. This is the first time, and we said you are not yet there, and my youngest one is bro made in Brunei.
oh, wow.
Born in Brunei. So my youngest is made in Brunei. The rest are made in the Philippines. I always joke. This daughter is
Is an
very capable.
birth.
Yeah.
Okay. So nice to know, bro. Maybe we still can share a lot of information to
Yes.
workers, and probably we can have another time, no, for you to
Hmm.
guest in this show. Anyway, this is
Yeah.
it happens
I am honored.
okay. It's 4 times a month, and
Mhm.
I'm sure that working with academe for quite some time, and then now it's 360 degrees. You are in the technical side of it, but you can always
Correct.
do teaching and training, because you said once a teacher, always a teacher.
Always a teacher.
That bro, I am so happy that we have met even online for. I mean,
Yeah, the honor is mine to be interviewed by a great doctor and my good friend and a guardian friend.
of
We are
course,
already
you will always
brothers
be my
in all aspects.
godfather, and
Uh,
I miss the times that we had been together in the academy, and of course,
yeah.
anything. Uh, uh, some of them are secret stories, untold stories.
Yeah.
Okay,
Actually, I envy you because you've been to 31 countries. I only traveled to 4 countries.
correct.
So you definitely your achievement is far higher than my achievement when it comes to
Naman,
touring around. And I
what's
salute you.
important is that we are happy with what we are doing. We have time to
Yes,
eat,
definitely.
and we like doing it. And of course, everything is through our guidance, because we believe that there is a supreme being that guides us.
Yes.
Okay. No, in our stories, it is always that we discover ourselves, we develop ourselves, we dominate the greatest within ourselves, and that is actually
Correct.
the thrust of our program. So, bro, I would like to thank you again, no, for sharing your time. Of course, the
Most
information
welcome.
shared will be very, very
The,
beneficial and
the honor is mine.
appreciated by our
Uh,
televiewers. So thank you
honored.
so much. I can thank you enough for sharing your time. Hope this is not the last time that we will be
Yes, yes.
in this show.
Looking forward for another invitation.
We thank you so much. So ladies and gentlemen, there you are, our special guest for tonight, right from Brunei. Because
Thank you. Thank you.
afternoon pala is not yet night, no?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's give another round of applause to Engineer, how do you call it, Ram, okay,
Ram, just call me Ram.
Pasquin, okay? So let's give him
Thank you.
another
Thank you.
round of applause. Bro, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
are really
Salute.
appreciated by the show.
All right.
So there you are, ladies and gentlemen. We are very much honored that we have our guest from Brunei again, Engineer Ram Pasquin. Okay, now let's talk about the Philippines, about migrant workers. Actually, the episode is Overseas Migrant Workers, the Pride of the Filipinos. Okay, now if you are going to talk about it, the Philippines has a population of 110,818, 325, more or less by it is estimated by July 2021. And the population growth is 1.49% in 2021. The birth rate is 20.66 birth for every 1,000 population that is in this year. And the death rate is 5.9 for every 1,000. Maybe things will be different because of the COVID cases, and the net migration is 1.75 migrants per 1,000. So in other words, that's quite a number, no? We have the different ethnic groups, and that is calculated in certain percent. But what I am after is that the Philippines beyond labor migration. So in the Philippines, a pervasive culture of migration has led millions to seek opportunities abroad, particularly since the academic turn in 1970s. And it continues until now. No, a lot of people, Filipinos, would like to get out of the countries probably for to seek better jobs and have better lives, support the family better. No, let us accept. No, and we are not the only Asian country that goes to other countries for better opportunities. We call it greener pasture. Now, the government has long embraced exporting labor as official economic policy, but over time, the focus has shifted first to protecting workers overseas, and much more recently in linking migration and development. So at least we are uh, very confident that the government is doing something in order to protect the workers overseas. As I was saying before, in the conversation between our guests, there is actually an economic contribution, no? Because the overseas workers, for example, the overseas workers in Hong Kong, about 340,000 foreign domestic helpers, and a great percentage of it are Filipinos. Actually, can be found in one of the 7 households. However, despite efforts from the government, Hong Kong, top sending countries, these workers remain uniquely vulnerable to exploitation and abuse. So it is sad to note that, of course, even in our countries, it happens. But hopefully, it can be avoided. Of course, the government is our partner in protecting abuses and exploitation of our overseas workers. Now, the conditions that foreign domestic workers face, the policies governing their employment, and the challenges in protecting their rights are serious issues that needs a huge attention. And I'm sure the government is doing something for this. Now, with more than 1.8 million immigrants living in the United States, the Philippines was fourth largest country of origin in 2013. Remember that. So we are the fourth in sending people or to the United States or people are going to the United States for better lives. So Filipino immigrants stand out from other top immigrants group with their unique historical experience as former nationals due to the U.S. annexation of the Philippines in 1989, 99, sorry, plus historic ties to the U.S. military and prevalence in healthcare profession. So a lot of our health workers actually in this time of pandemic, the government is discouraging people getting out of the country because we needed them most in the Philippines because of this pandemic. But in 2016, the figures have changed because 1.9 million Filipinos live in the United States again, making them the fourth largest immigrant group. So our position as the fourth is retained compared to the foreign-born population. Overall, Filipinos are likely to get green card through family immigration channels and have higher education and naturalization rates. So the spotlight offers key information on Filipinos demographics, employment geographic distribution, health coverage, and more. So we're talking about the different benefits that immigrant or migrant workers are receiving other than that of the Philippines. So nearly one-third of all immigrants in the United States is come from Asia and Asian countries such as India, China, and the Philippines are the origin of the growing number of foreign-born U.S. residents. Compared to overall immigrants in the United States, foreign-born from Asia and to earn higher incomes, work in management jobs, and have higher levels of education as this article explores. Okay, so overseas Filipino workers, for example, are considered as modern day heroes. I told you we are contributing greatly to the Philippine economy. And because they don't only contribute to our country's economic growth through remittances, but also sacrifice their chance of being with their families. That's why they are called modern day heroes. They choose to work overseas to be able to provide for their loved ones better lives, regardless of the risk they will have to face in a foreign land. So today, in every Filipino household, there is an OFW family member or a relative. So most Filipinos, after working for many years in our country, choose to live in search of greener pastures, while some prefer to live right after graduating from high school or college and find better working conditions in another country. So they believe that being an OFW would help them live a comfortable life. So the high unemployment rate in our country, and that's a fact, let's face it, pushes them to work as household workers, janitors, construction workers in any other blue collar jobs that would ease the financial struggle of their family. So, you know, we are very family oriented and we would like always the best for our family, especially if you are the breadwinner in the family. But there are a lot of challenges that our OFWs face. Number one is homesickness. Okay, so people like the Asians, Filipinos in particular, we feel homesick whenever we get out of our country. But because of the dream, not to get people have different lives, support their family at their best, and have better lives in the future, then we, you know, fight homesick, boredom, and loneliness. Now, the next one is the communication gap and culture. So when you are in another country, probably there is a difficulty in the language, except for the English, because Filipinos speak the language more or less fluently and understandable with other nationalities. We can communicate effectively with other people, even the use of sign language. So another is the finance. So most Filipinos think that working abroad will earn them big money, but sometimes don't receive the high income that they are expected. No, it's sad to note that people expect a certain amount, and then when they get into the job, they get different amount of money they have. Okay, now maltreatment and other possible risks. So we have heard stories of OFWs about how they were maltreated abroad. So as an OFW, I'll keep these three things in mind. So the location of the Philippine Embassy, the dearest offices that oversee the needs of Filipino workers abroad, and be aware of the Republic Act 10022, which states that an act amending Republic Act number 8042, otherwise known as the Migrant Workers and Overseas Filipino Act of 1995, as amended, furthering improving the standards of protection and promotion of welfare of migrant workers, their families, and overseas Filipinos in distress, and for other purposes. Okay, so for the Balik Manggagawa program, if an OFW so decide to go back to the Philippines, so you have an assistance. We do not want to talk about it, but it is true, it's a fact. So if you lost a job, the family gets $10,000 survival benefit, accidental death at least $15,000, disablement or disbarment of 7,500 disability benefit, repatriation, you are returned back to the Philippines at no cost, subsistence allowance of $100 per month for maximum of 6 months if you are disabled, compassionate visit of at least 7 consecutive days, medical evacuation, medical repatriation for migrant workers, residents. Filipinos are known as hard workers, but let's not forget that we need to value ourselves and our rights as well. So we must learn to prioritize our safety and security. So ladies and gentlemen, that's all for this episode number 10. I should correct, which is entitled Overseas Migrant Workers, the Pride of the Filipinos. So lastly, I would like to thank iHelp Coaching and Business Solutions and the Greatness Hub channel for this opportunity to bring information to you and my company, which is ABCS Plus Travel and Tours. We can find us at abcsplustravel@gmail.com. Send us an email or log into our website, which is www.wcatravel.com.abcf+. And then, of course, our telephone number is 0915-501-5637. Okay, I would like also to invite everybody to keep watch on our Tuesday Power of Greatness shows, which is at 10 to 11. This is changed 3 to 4 now by Coach Yanni, 12 to 1 is prayer time by Coach Ira, 4 to 5 great shopping by Coach Harvey, 5 to 6 entrepreneur by Coach Marife, 6 to 7 teaching out of the box by Coach Harvey, 7 to 8 transform by Coach Darwin, and 8 to 9 speak with Zach. So ladies and gentlemen, we have different shows, and our shows have different themes, and of course, the different themes discusses the greatness of people by discovering, developing, and dominating our greatness within. So thank you so much once again for watching our show. We'll see you on the next episode. We'll be seeing you again on August 24. It's something about volunteerism. So volunteers, Filipino volunteers get out of the country for another country to do their volunteers. That's August, it's August 24. So we have another guest to share us experiences and significant contribution as a volunteer in behalf of the Philippines. So ladies and gentlemen, Coach Yanni again. This is Travel Pamor, your travel guide online show, 3 to 4 p.m. every Tuesday. So thank you so much. We'll be back next Tuesday. Magandang hapon po at maraming salamat sa inyong pagsubaybay. Those who have subscribed, please continue watching our shows. And those who have not yet subscribed, please click the bell button below. Thank you so much. Magandang hapon po at maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Okay? So, bye-bye.
ABCS Plus Travel and Tours, WCA Travel Affiliate, is dedicated to provide affordable, quality, competitive travel and hospitality products and services to every lifestyle-conscious consumer all across the globe. ABCS Plus Travel and Tours wants to fulfill WCA Travel's mission, which is to be of great help to every individual or family so they can have extraordinary travel experiences by giving them only the best options for their travel needs. Book with us and enjoy big discounts, awesome promos, and tour packages. ABCS Plus Travel and Tours at your service for your travel needs. What are you waiting for? Book now. Travel the world. Live the dream. Make a difference.